This is IGN. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck excel in this action thriller which is nearly undone by an impractical script. This is your IGN review of The Rip by Kenneth Stewart Jr. Netflix's The Rip is a deceptively good film, but its compelling premise about cartel stash houses and corrupt law enforcement is nearly undone by an impractical script. And in terms of action, the mostly by-the-numbers approach to gunfights doesn't win in any favors. That said, solid performances from the cast, especially that of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and a last-minute twist save The Rip from mediocrity. The Rip starts well enough. Hours after the violent death of their captain, Matt Damon's Lieutenant Dane Dumars and Ben Affleck's Detective Sergeant J.D. Byrne are grilled regarding their potential involvement in the incident. Questions about their whereabouts during the crime, personal relationship with the deceased, and notions of stolen drug money are met with aggressive body language and hesitant responses. Subtle shifts in lighting color the interrogations, where a darker room hints at someone being dishonest. Essentially, director Joe Carnahan does a great job of sowing seeds of doubt early on. The Rip's uneasy vibe slowly develops over time. As new information is revealed, it becomes increasingly difficult to pin down who might have done what and why. The tension truly ramps up, however, after an anonymous tip comes in about a stash house holding a sizable amount of cash. When Dane and his fellow detectives head over to investigate, they end up finding more than they bargained for. The result? A nerve-wracking yet entertaining standoff between the cops, a drug cartel, and everyone in between. What makes The Rip work as an action thriller, at least initially, is the interactions between these morally ambiguous characters. The idea that longtime friends and co-workers could be swayed to murder one another over large sums of money is compelling, and that's before witnessing any secret text messages or ominous phone calls threatening violence. Unfortunately, the film's uneven script often betrays the tension-filled premise. While there are a few good verbal exchanges, some of the dialogue fails to convey the seriousness of the situation. When a person is confronted over their questionable actions and their response is basically a shrug, it makes it seem like they don't care about the potential consequences. Worst of all are the film's transparent attempts at misdirection, which only wind up leading to an outcome we've been expecting all along. Of course, this guy who seems absurdly guilty isn't the real villain. That's not to say that The Rip's ending is predictable. Key moments still play out in interesting ways, despite how inevitable they may feel. The issue is in how unrealistic some of its characters can be. When a seemingly pragmatic person says something unreasonable, damning even, it's hard not to see their incriminating banter as anything other than a red herring. This sort of thing sucks all of the tension out of the film, as the real culprits become readily apparent. At that point, all of the suspense that's been built up completely vanishes, and so The Rip begins to lose some of its spark. This feeling doesn't change when the bullets start flying either. Even if the shootouts were exciting, they don't last long enough to be impactful. Thankfully, The Rip is saved by its talented cast and exciting final moments. Steven Yeun is convincing as the apprehensive and seemingly straight-laced Detective Mike Rowe. The same can be said of Catalina Moreno and Teyana Taylor, who play detectives Lolo Salazar and Numa Baptiste respectively. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are the standouts, though. Damon's calm yet commanding demeanor reflects Lieutenant Dumars' desire to safeguard his team, while Affleck's Byrne is more aggressive by nature. Eager to figure out what side of the law everyone stands on, he's less likely to mince words, as evidenced by Affleck's sharp line delivery. Damon and Affleck are great whenever they're on screen, but they excel when playing opposite one another. Their clashing personalities keep things interesting whether they're fighting or sharing a heartfelt moment. This is true even to the point of making The Rip's last-minute twist, which does a good job of addressing the film's ongoing mystery, feel exhilarating. Being so thoroughly invested in Dumars and Burns' plight, I was on the edge of my seat by the time the smoke actually cleared. The Rip may stumble at times due to an uneven script and forgettable action scenes, but its interesting premise, talented cast led by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and twist ending make for a mostly enjoyable experience. The Rip's IGN score? 7 out of 10. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and for the latest updates on The Rip, visit us at IGN.com.
Spoken Layer.